Good afternoon, friends. Sorry this video was not up when you wanted it to be, but life happens sometimes. So tonight we're doing understand that multiples of 5 need extra attention in zeros pattern. So what I did here is I took a little section out of page 121, and we still have our patterns here. We're going to find each product to complete this chart right here. So then we're going to discuss the patterns you see for the number of zeros in each product. So let's just kind of do this action right here. Let's do 5 times 2 times 10, which is also 10 times 10, and we all know the answer to that. I hear you saying it real loud and clear, is 100. Nice work. But if I were to do 50 times 40, I have 5 times 10 and 4 times 10, or 20 times 100, which I see as 2,000. 50 times 600 can be viewed as 5 times 10 times 6 times 100, which is 30 times 1,000, or 30,000. And you have 500 times 800, which could be viewed as 5 times 10 times 8 times 100. I'm sorry, 5 times 100 times 8 times 100, which is also 40 times 10,000, which is 400,000. But what I want you to see here is the zeros discussed. Now we're going to discuss the patterns you see, the zeros in each product. So here we see that there are 2 zeros. Here we see there are 3 zeros. Here we see there are 4 zeros, and in this product we see that there are 5 zeros. So if we go back to the factors of these products, we see here there's 1, 2 zeros. Okay, there's 1 0 here and 2 zeros there. There's 3 zeros total. There's 1 0 here and 3 zeros here. So that's 4 zeros total. 1 0 in 40 and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros in 10,000, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So maybe what you're starting to see here is that the number of zeros in the product, remember, that's the answer to the multiplication problem, to the product, man, my handwriting is really bad right now, sorry guys, is 1 more than the number of zeros in product. What we didn't look at were the zeros over here. So there's one, this is the original over here. The original factor here is there's 1 0 here, but there's 2 zeros here. There's 2 zeros in this original 2 factors, and there's 3 zeros here. There's 1, 2, 3 zeros here, but there's 4 zeros here. So what I want you to see is that when you get that 5 involved, these are factors of 5. 5 times 2, 5 times 20, 5 times 6, and 5 times 8. Each one of those products have a 0 in them. So the 10, the 20, the 30, and the 40. So when you are looking at your original problem here, your product has 1 more 0 than the original factors, because that multiplier in with 5 times 8 has a 0 in it. 5 times 6 has a 0 in it, the answer. So moving other examples, let's decide how many zeros there will be in these problems. So if you're looking at 80 times 5, what are we looking at? Well, I know there's going to be at least 1 0, and 8 times 5 is 40. There's going to be one more 0 than what's in the factors. 70 times 5 is 350. One more 35, because 7 times 5 and a 0. 90 times 50. How many zeros are there going to be? If you're saying 2, you are correct, because there's no 0 in the product of 9 times 5, which is 45. Now I have 60 times 50. How many zeros are going to be in my product here? There's going to be one more, because we know that 6 times 5 is 30. So there's going to be one more 0 than what's in this problem because of this multiplication problem. So let's look at these word problems and see if we can write an equation and then solve them and stay consistent with our work. Ernesto and his sister Dora are playing a computer game. Ernesto has earned 200 points so far. His sister has earned 50 times as many points. How many points has Dora earned? So I want to know what D Dora has earned. D Dora is 50 times Ernesto. So if I'm trying to figure out what Dora is, I see that right now there is 1, 2, 3 zeros in my multiplication problem. But I know that 5 times 2 adds another 0. So how many points does Dora have? She's got 1,000 points. Hopefully you're starting to see a little bit of a pattern here. Mount Katahdin is the tallest mountain in Maine. It's about 5,000 feet tall. Mount McKinley is the tallest mountain in the United States. It is 4 times as tall as Mount Katahdin. How tall is Mount McKinley? So if I want to know Mount McKinley equals 4 times Katahdin, which is 5,000 feet, what is McKinley? Well, Mount McKinley is going to have 1, 2, 3, at least 3 zeros. But I have to look at these two factors right here, 4 times 5, which I know the answer to that is 20. So therefore, my product is going to have an extra 0. 20,000 feet. You just need to be careful when you're multiplying with those 5s, because sometimes it adds in another 0 just because the product of those factors has a 0 in it. And you have to take into consideration the zeros that you have already in your tens. So we will revisit this a little bit more tomorrow. Sorry this is so late. Make sure to write down as many of these examples as you can, and we'll talk a little bit more on Friday.